All right.
So we're back.
We are back.
Well, I mean, should we do the formal intro that we do for every episode? Probably, right?
I mean, I hate it, but
yeah. But I'm going to do the intro because this is how it should be done.
Matt, what do you want? What do you want to happen?
I don't know.
You want the intro?
Rock, paper, scissors. Who does the intro?
Who does the intro?
Yep.
Well, it should be rock, paper, scissors between me and you.
Yeah, well,
All right,
I'm
let's
not
go.
doing anything.
That's 2 out of 3. Just go.
Yeah, just go.
I know rock, paper, scissors says shoot. It's
Yeah,
rock,
that's-
paper, scissors
nah.
shoot. Yeah, none of that.
That's for people from the 20s.
You're right.
What?
All right, you do it.
What's going on, guys? And welcome back to the Stunods
What's
podcast.
going on, everybody?
Dude,
Welcome
I
back to the
actually-
episode
I
3 of the
actually hate you.
Stunods podcast. Well, hello. Stunods! Okay. What, I cut you off or something?
Oh, did you cut me off? No, you didn't cut me off.
Oh, all right.
That's fine. Go ahead.
No, continue.
You were in the
no,
middle.
you wrote it up. You wrote it
I
up,
didn't-
so.
Oh my God! Welcome back to the Stunods podcast, and we are very excited to have our very first guest and our dear friend Matthew Lawler on today's episode. And we're just gonna go and talk about his experiences in the Marines, that kind of jazz.
That kind of jazz. I like
That
jazz.
yeah, I like jazz.
Smooth jazz.
Smooth jazz.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's real good stuff. So, Matt, thanks for coming on the show.
Matty Laws.
Thanks
Very
for
excited to
having
have
me.
you
At
here.
Matt Laws 11. Is that it? Instagram?
No.
Oh.
So, Matt, if you want to, say a little thing about yourself, tell the folks at home
Who
Who
you
you
are,
are.
what you do, what you wear,
Well,
what size shoe you wear.
I'm happy you said that. I'm wearing Dig Me right now.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I think we're all wearing.
We're all
Digby.
wearing Dig Me.
Yes.
Oh,
Shout out to
I
our
have a
boy
hat over
Ray
here,
Dig
too.
Me.
Yes, Ray Dig Me.
Got the company Dig Me right here, Dig Me Nation, baby.
It's a
I've
nice
been-
shirt, though. It's
Very
nice,
nice
it's nice
shirt.
material. I like it.
I've been working with Ray for probably over a year now.
I coached with Ray a
You
few
did
summers
coach with
ago.
Ray.
Awesome guy.
Great dude. Great company.
Mhm.
The passion that he has, I've never seen anybody else.
With
in
that
terms
drive,
of just
yeah.
any type of project, anything that guy does, man. I mean, he just goes full throttle.
Yeah, and he has a
You know.
positive outlook on everything. I remember when I was coaching with him and just talking to him about either his company or his, outlook, his view on life, and just, his attitude towards, the game of baseball. Very positive guy. He's a good
Yeah.
guy you want in your corner. So
And he
shout out
just-
to Ray
He
Dig Me.
dreams big, man. That's
Yeah.
that's what his whole company's about, is just live, dream, be, and
Mhm.
That's a motto I think that anybody that has a dream can kind of chase.
Yeah.
And if you follow those those simple steps that he kind of tries to push with his brand,
Yeah.
you follow that, man. You're getting the right tools, I guess, to catch your dream. You know?
Yeah. Yeah. No, he's got the
So.
right idea for sure.
Maddie, what do you think about the clothing here? See all your boys in
I
Hawaii.
love it. I have boys in Hawaii who, my roommate actually loves the hat that you're wearing right now.
Nice,
Loves
nice.
the logo. It's a badass logo. It's so clean.
It is clean.
I brought it back to Hawaii that first time after you gave it to me, Dom.
Yeah.
And he immediately was like, dude, where'd you get that hat? I was
Yeah.
like, well, let me just talk to my contact. And I'll get you one.
Well, the thing about the logo too, it's like it's a classy gentleman look,
It's
and like,
so clean, dude.
And as a guy, you're thinking to yourself like you want to carry yourself as a classy gentleman. At least that's how I want to carry myself. I don't know about.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
sure you
Yes,
two
sir.
want to be the same exact way. Like, why would you want to carry yourself in any other way? And that's, it's kind of like his thinking behind it. You know what I mean? It's a classy gentleman. It's a lifestyle that you should live by. Therefore, it's a lifestyle brand,
Yeah.
and it's a good idea. So yeah, I like the logo.
I like it a lot.
I like it.
He's been in Bloomingdale's,
Yeah.
Tilly's,
Mhm.
Lids.
Every time you post stuff, I see it on your Instagram, whatever. Every once in a while, there'll be a pro wearing his shirt or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Some
Got
dude,
connections, man. Yeah.
You'll post somewhere I'll see, because I follow him too. His page, someone's wearing his hat in an interview. I'm like, damn, dude.
Yeah.
It's gonna take off.
Yeah.
Sooner or later, man.
He's badass, man.
It's
I
going
mean,
to, without a doubt.
and when what his thing too is, when I first started to get to know him, he when he was trying to develop the company, his thing was that he just, as long as he can get himself into a room with, investors or certain
Yeah.
people that he needs to, bring Dig Me farther into what it needs
bring
to
it
be.
to the next level. Yeah.
If he gets in the room with someone, man, he's stealing the show.
Yeah.
He'll automatically grab your attention.
He's
and,
got that
you know.
personality for
Yeah.
sure.
So check it out. Dig
Yeah.
Me. Great clothing. Support our buddy out.
Yeah, definitely. All right, Dom. So, you stole my intro, but that's okay. I forgive
Yeah,
you.
that's right. I do it better. But
So, I mean, today is kind of tailored around our guest. You know what I mean? So I think we're going to talk about, his experiences within the Marines and other things as well.
Hopefully, you got a train running through.
I don't even know what that is.
There's too many noises. Again, if this is the first time listening, coming out of Joe's basement.
They are. They're
We're
not
in
lying.
the back room. It's ridiculous.
The back room.
You got to start somewhere,
I definitely want to talk about your experiences, with the Marines and everything. But I want to ask you, before joining, what was your mindset and kind of what made you ultimately decide that you wanted to be a Marine?
I just think it's like in you.
Yeah.
It's in you. Just like he has a dream to be a filmmaker and he's going to do anything to do that.
Yeah.
It's just like something inside you. I think like when I saw it as a kid, whether like I saw someone in a uniform, you watched movies, TV shows. I mean, I was like hooked to like the military channel as like a little kid for whatever reason. But I just think it just hooked me. And even growing up, it might have like went away a little bit, but it was like always there because it was just inside me. Like it was something I wanted to do. Like it was in my heart. Like I'm gonna do that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like finished high school, had no idea what I was doing at all. I did a semester at the county college, and I was like, no, not doing it. Not doing it. Went home to my mom. I was like, not doing it. She was like, okay. She knew it was coming. She's like, all right, do whatever you need to do. Worked for a little bit, and I was just like, I need to leave. Like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
And that was when like I really realized where I was like, what am I doing? I was like, I'm literally not like doing anything. And then you start to get in that mindset because then I was like, I really want to do it.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I want to leave so bad. And then you start thinking like, what am I contributing?
Yeah.
Like, am I really doing anything for anyone or like for the, or the way I think about it now, like, am I doing anything for the country?
Right.
And then that was like my mindset. I'm like, I can't be here anymore.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I had an obligation. I had to go do something.
That's awesome.
So you go, you talk to them, and then it gets surreal. Like when you just go into like the recruiting station because like you think you're like, oh, I just want to do like this is what I want to do, and you get so nervous. You're like, oh God.
Yeah.
Like I'm nervous now. I had no reason to be nervous. I didn't know what I was getting into. Like a little bit, you watch stuff, but man, nothing. You can't watch anything to like prepare you for it. Yeah. Like you literally can't. Stories people tell you, or like if you watched videos, like I tried like looking stuff up, which was so bad because they're always like, don't look anything up because then you think it's like playing. It's just like it's like cheating the game.
It's like when you're sick and you like look up like, oh, I have this bump on my arm. And
you
look it up. It's like it's cancer.
Yeah, like I looked up stuff and it was either to the max. I was like, oh my God, I'm terrified, or it was like, oh, I can do that, right?
Yeah.
Both awful mindsets. Like I think I could just do it, or I'm like way too scared.
Yeah.
When I left September 17th, 2017.
It was earlier than you expected, right? Like you wasn't
earlier. I was in the DEP in the recruiting station for 3 months.
Wow.
And I left. I mean, I had buddies that were in the station for a year.
Yeah.
A year and a half, 2 years.
Yeah, it's kind of wild.
It's quick.
I was in for 3 months. And a little story, I was called the day before the group before me was supposed to leave, like August 28th or something like that. And my recruiter calls me. He's like, you want to leave tomorrow? It was a Thursday. He's like, you want to leave tomorrow? And I was like, what?
Yeah.
He's like, you'll leave tomorrow. He's like, you want to do it, right? I'm like, well, yeah, but because now I got scared. Like I was nervous. And I was like, no, I don't want to do it. Little did I know, I found out later someone like backed out. Like they didn't get on the plane. They didn't even go to South Carolina. They didn't even get there.
Yeah.
And he's like, we need someone to go. And I was like, I don't want to do it. I was like, September 18th, my day. Like I still have a few weeks to go. Like I'm good. Like let me prepare myself to leave. So I almost left a lot earlier than I thought, which is going to be kind of shitty because like everyone was expecting me to leave the 18th.
Yeah, yeah.
Or well, like the 17th, whatever. And I was gonna leave, but I was like, no, I can't do it. Like, let me just go with the time that I had, because that's like where my mind's at. I was like, I'm preparing myself for this time.
Yeah.
So you get close to the gate. The bus driver like yells back to you, and he's like, everyone, you have to put your heads down. So you all put our heads down, and I'm looking to the kid next to me who came from my station. And he was terrified. He was like, I don't want to do it.
Jesus.
He's like, I'm not getting off. Like,
There's no point of return.
Which you can. I mean, at that point, you're in.
Yeah, that's it.
You ain't going nowhere.
Jesus.
And then it started to like kind of mess with me. I'm like, oh my God, this kid's like getting in my head right now. He was literally, he was like about to cry. And I'm like, well, there's no going anywhere, man. Like, we're literally getting through the gate and we're going. And you can feel, because he's slowing down, so he's driving through the base, and he gets up to those doors, those big old silver doors, which is where you start, and you only go through once with the footprints. And you get out. Well, you don't get out yet. They open up the doors, and immediately you're being screamed at. Immediately. I mean, you've probably seen. I probably showed you.
Yeah, you showed me. Yeah.
You are being screamed at by what they call your receiving drill instructor. So it's not yours you're having yet. You go through like a week. It's like, I don't know, maybe like 5 or 6 days. It's like something like that.
Yeah.
Where you're basically held with these guys who are basically getting you set up to get your drill instructors you're going to have for 3 months.
Yeah.
So he comes in screaming, like, get off my bus, get off my bus. And you run out with like this little bag you have because you can't take anything. And the clothes that are on your body, which I wore for like 2 days straight, which it gets even worse. And you come out, you stand on the footprints, and then he starts screaming at you. He's screaming the speech, like, you are now going to be blah, 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 treated like blah, 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 held to the standards of blah, blah, blah. And then you walk up to the door, and then it's just like, it's game on. He opens up those doors, and there's a dozen behind the door, and you're being,
oh my God,
like a pack of wild dogs being screamed at. But it's all because the first phase, I don't know what it is now, but like, well, there's like 4 phases now, but it's still all the same in the beginning. That initial thing is to break you.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like a bad thing or anything, but like they're trying to make you feel like weak and like powerless. Because there's a lot of dudes that come out from like home or whatever, and they go here and they have attitudes and stuff like that. They're trying to break all that away. So they're trying to make you feel like you're at the bottom, rock bottom, because once they get you there, they can start building you back up to what they're supposed to like shape you as a Marine. Jesus. So it's immediately you're being screamed at, all this stuff. You're writing down your name on papers, blah blah blah, and then we go into where you call home, and you can only say like 2 sentences on the thing, and you have to hang up the phone. But they want you to talk to someone. They want someone to pick up the phone. So I'm calling him like, oh my God, like I had to take out this book because I told him, I was like, give me the number just in case I forget. So I had to take out this book. I'm like fumbling this book, and I'm like trying to read the home phone number. Yeah. And like I'm like typing it in.
You couldn't even remember your home number?
I couldn't remember my phone number. So I'm like typing it in. I'm like, oh my God, answer, because they're like screaming behind you. They're like, if someone doesn't answer, you will tell me, and you'll stand here and call a dozen more times until someone picks up, because they want you to call someone and to have someone know that you're there.
Yeah, at least there. Yeah.
And then I think my mom picks up. I don't know if somebody was in the back, but she picks up and she's like, hello, and she knew it was me because you have to scream it. It says like on the thing, like, you will say blah blah blah. So you're screaming like, I just arrived at like Marine Corps Depot, Paris Island, whatever. I made it here safely. I can't talk. I will contact you in so and so time. Yeah. With how I'm doing, blah blah blah. Goodbye for now. And you run into the other room around the corner.
Wow.
And that's like, that's it. I didn't talk to anybody.
I remember your mom telling me, like, I got the phone call. I must have been home.
Really?
Or something. Yeah. She told. It wasn't like that right after, but yeah, she was telling me about it, and it was like, wasn't it like 2:30 in the morning or something like that?
Oh yeah, it was dark. Well, we had to wait because when I got there it was like evening. Yeah. And they take you there when it's dark, so you can't see anything. I think it changes for some people. I think just the timing. They're like, oh, we can't wait. You just have to bring them. But we waited. I mean, we waited all night. We left at like 12. And I assume that was just they wanted it to be dark. One, we can't see anything. It just adds to the effect, which is what they're doing. They're playing it out. They're playing.
Well, even that waiting too is completely
on their side. Yeah,
drawing up millions.
Because everyone started to get like relaxed and calm. Like we were just sitting in this little airport. It was late. Nobody was in there. We were the only ones sitting in there. And then buses started to come pick people up, and I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But like,
so that first day turned into like a week, and then you receive your actual drill instructors, and then 3 months.
So I mean, just like, talking about your mindset and those initial experiences before you actually, got into boot camp, it sounded really intense. But why don't you talk about some experiences that you experienced during boot camp that are going to stick with you for the rest of your life? Because obviously it seems like everything is going to stick with you. But what are the things that really stick out in your mind?
Well, one thing is, didn't you say like that first like 3 days they didn't let you sleep?
Oh yeah, you didn't sleep for, it was like 4 days straight or something like that.
Jesus.
And you were in your civilian clothes for
that
like
you brought
2 of those days.
Yeah.
So, and I'm gonna be honest, during boot camp, you smell.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's probably the last thing you worry about.
You smell, and they let you know every day. Your instructor's like, "Oh my God, you mother." Smell
But that's
like
probably
that."
part of it though too, right?
Because one, you don't shower,
Yeah.
but they have to keep you clean because you get sick or whatever. So you shower at certain times when you can, and you shower quick. You literally run through the shower. You like shower your head. It's like the quick shower. For females, it's different. Your armpits, your manhood, and like your face and your hair. That's like what they want you to clean, and you're out.
They did it, didn't you say that you like held like the towel out or something?
Yeah, you
all
held your towel out, and you put your other hand out, and who was put in that position at the time, your guide and your squad leaders would hold the soap out, and every time some kid would come by, and you would just go through.
And it was like a circle, like through the sprinklers.
You went through the showers.
Or the showers, yeah.
Which was just a big open room with just shower heads on the wall.
Yeah, like a gym, like a locker room type of thing. Yeah,
I mean,
with no doors or nothing.
But with freezing cold water, they turned off the hot water.
Nice.
So it was always cold water.
But what
Except
you were
we got it
before,
once.
how you were saying that they're trying to break you down.
They're trying to make you feel like
right.
you're nothing.
So like that's got to be part of it too. You're not showering for that long. You're staying awake.
They're taking you away from what comfort is.
Yeah.
Here.
So mentally, you
That's what
smell.
It is. It's all mental.
You're tired,
you're
and
exhausted.
they're like your morale is shot. You know what I mean? So to me, like that is probably, I think mentally, like the physical.
It's a mental game. If you can stay somewhat strong mentally, you will get to a point where you're like, oh my God. Yeah. But if you can keep something mentally, some type of mental strength, if you can dig deep, which a lot of people can't.
Yeah.
The physical just comes.
Yeah.
The physical comes because you have no choice.
Right.
You will run. You will push up until you cry. You will do whatever they say. So the physical comes, and a lot of the times, whatever physical thing you're doing, you're barely doing it.
Right.
There was times where I was doing push-ups where I thought I was like up and down, and I was moving an inch.
Yeah.
But sometimes they don't even care about that because they know that you're in that state.
Yeah.
They're beating you, which is what they want. Because that whole time I was doing that, I was getting stronger though.
Yeah.
I mean, you are on the most insane diet of your life. You eat at the same times every day, off maybe by a minute or so. Mm-hmm. And that's it. And in between those chow times, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you are running around the base, doing everything. Everything, man. But it's all mental, though.
You said that people like have to dive down mentally to find like to get some type of strength to like build yourself up. Was there something that you had to like latch onto like mentally that was like forcing you to basically get through it? Like was there something like what was that like it factor where it was like this is gonna get me through?
Like the answer that like I think people would expect would be like home.
Yeah.
Like you're trying to do it for the people back home. But like, to be honest with you, when I was there, I was thinking of nothing of back home.
Yeah.
I literally couldn't. You don't have it in your mind. You just can't think about it. So to be honest, it was those guys that you met while you're there who brought you through it all.
Yeah.
2 buddies right now that I haven't seen since just after boot camp are still brothers of mine. Yeah. I could talk to them. I could call them whenever. Because that just relationship built so fast because you had no choice.
Because I feel like
so those two, just seeing them and like talking to them at the end of the night and everything like that, which I'll get into, like it's like dudes like that. It's the people because all you have is them around you. You cannot talk to anybody. There's nothing. Every single second that you're awake, there's an instructor around you. Anytime. You go to sleep, he's there until you fall asleep. You wake up, he's already there. When you're out running around, he's right next to you. Like, you feel trapped. So there's nowhere to go besides those few dudes that are around you.
I mean,
that just become like this. You rely on them. You lean on them.
You're going through hell together.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that blows away like team building exercises that companies try. It's just like it's accelerated. I feel like that's like 5 or 10 years of just even like a friendly relationship built
like
into
a
one
month.
Because it's you're living, you're eating, you're shitting, you're showering, like you're doing everything literally together.
It gets to a point too where it's like, you know, these kind of experiences that you're going through, it's unlike anything else that people ever experience. You know what I mean?
There's nothing that I can compare. Almost anything I've done since I've been in, but mainly that, because who just does that on their spare time?
So those guys are the only people that can relate to it.
Yeah, who are there with you at the moment. So
that's
like what it was.
Was there a? You said that there was like drill instructors always there.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure probably, like you said, he kind of felt trapped, but was there like a moment where if there was one drill instructor or anything that like you kind of...
You felt like kind of at ease?
Kind of at ease, like you felt comfortable.
Calm?
Yeah.
Yeah, when we would be like studying for the tests and stuff, like the other instructors would go into the house, was where like they stayed. And like one would be out like teaching us like the knowledge for the test. And we would all be sitting on the ground looking at like the projector. And that was where you felt like calm because it was quiet. Mm-hmm. He was trying to like teach you and like have you be able to pass the test. It's very easy, but in the time you're learning something like that, it's just not. So they like really take the time for you to do that. So like times like that, or certain days of the week, I don't even remember when it was, where you had like time at the end of the day before you went to sleep. Yeah. Where like you would get your stuff ready for the next day. You'd clean up your area. You'd clean up your little locker. Remember that little locker at the edge of your rack?
The foot locker thing.
Yeah. You got all that cleaned up. They would be in the house. They would peek out the window and they'd come out every once in a while and like look. But if it wasn't loud, they wouldn't come out. So we would try and make everyone just be quiet. We're like, don't cause attention. Let's just chill for a second. Let's clean up our stuff. And everyone, if your stuff was cleaned up, you would kind of just like sit there for a second. It was quiet. Everyone was just doing their thing. Mm-hmm. But they would put you to sleep. Like we went to sleep at 8 every night.
Right.
You go to sleep at 8, wake up at 4. Go to sleep at 8, wake up at 4. But so they would always come out, and essentially like they would be putting you to sleep. They would yell at everyone. You'd get up in your rack. You would have to lay there super still. You couldn't. They didn't want you like. And he would walk. He would turn the lights off, and he would just walk up and down all the racks and just walk. And you just see him in the dark. I was on the top bunk, and I could just see his campaign cover. I could just see it, just like walking. He'd be quiet, unless he wanted to be an asshole. But he would just be quiet, and you would have to lay perfectly straight until he left. But by that point, you're already falling asleep. Like the second you hit a bed, I can't even describe it. I've been so tired in what I've done since I've been in that I've had it a little bit, especially like where I've fallen asleep in the weird places that I've fallen asleep. But like when you hit the rack in boot camp, after just the mental and physical exhaustion, you are like out.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
And he doesn't want you to fall asleep. He's waiting.
So the next question I want to ask, throughout boot camp, was there ever a time where you felt completely broken down into, I guess, nothing?
At the end.
The end.
So we went through the 3 months. Mm-hmm. So just close to the end, the crucible. So it's 3 straight days.
Yeah.
Of just constant events, and you're up all the time. And I graduated December 15th. So the crucible was probably like, I don't know, like 2 weeks before that.
Yeah.
So like it was cold, and it was like some of like the coldest like weather they've gotten down there. Yeah. Of course, my luck, right? In a long time. There was snow, and when I went out for my crucible, it was just rain and sleet, and the wind was absurd. It was freezing. So you're up for 72 hours, whatever, 3 days straight. Yeah. And now we're soaking wet the whole time, freezing, and
you said
your uniform is soaked.
Yeah, you said freezing. Didn't you like one of the nights you like went to sleep
Oh yeah.
You like took it off? Didn't you have to take off?
We
or
took it
something?
off at night because they wanted you to take it off because they didn't want you to like literally like freeze.
Yeah.
So, unless this was a crucible or a different time, but either way, we took it off and we were in these little hooch things, these little just wooden, like little house things. Nothing was inside. You just laid on the ground on the little mat that we have, and then in your sleeping bag. And we threw our uniform up on like the wood beams to try and dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever. And then we got in our sleeping bag because they wanted to do that, because a lot of people were starting to like hype out and shit.
Yeah.
Like a lot of dudes were really like falling apart and everything like that. We had a kid the first day fell straight out. They had to bring him to the hospital off base.
Shit.
His temperature was like, it was like 90 or something like that.
Oh my
like
God.
they thought he was gonna. That's why they brought him straight to the hospital off base.
Yeah.
And we thought he was like dead. And we were like, there's no way, because they told us about it. Because now they want to get you. That's like a mental thing.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you hear? You know, he left. Like, probably not gonna see him at graduation or everything. And everyone's like, what? What do you mean? So we thought he was gone. Like really, which
That's-
like kind of screwed people up. We're like,
that's
oh my
scary.
God. And
Yeah.
we had to keep going. But going back to that, we had to throw him up. And the next morning, I mean, we slept for probably like 3 hours. Or 4. Or actually, I don't remember. I don't think it was as long as we were like supposed to sleep or going to sleep.
Not nearly enough.
No.
Yeah.
And then we ripped them off, and you couldn't get them off because they were frozen. When I finally got mine off, it was all angles. It was straight up, straight across, straight down.
Oh my
And they were rock
God.
solid, and they were frosted over.
Yeah.
And I had to put them on. My
Jesus.
boots were soaking wet. I had to put all of it back on. I would have rather just kept it on, because I would have been in my sleeping bag would have been wet, but I would have kept it on. It would have like warmed up or whatever.
Yeah.
Freezing, awful thing to have to like experience in the morning after you know what you're about to go through. So that was awful. But this is after, so the one time that I really thought like I was done. This was at the end. We went to, so where we have the crucible is like out on like an old like flight line, like this huge open area out there, like on base out there. I mean, I know it is because we didn't go that far, but it's just all wooded. It's just long runways.
Yeah.
So all the events and all the tasks we're doing, everything is all right there. So we went on the runway, we went in a little bit, and there was this little like thing, we could just call them like Thunderdomes. Like there's just big roofs basically.
Yeah.
And we were all in there in like a formation, and we even had our sister company to our left. November company was to our left, because this was to the point where we only had like a day left to the crucible, not even. And so we started working with the females. We started doing stuff with them, which they do a lot more now. Like you're literally with females during boot camp. For us, that was, you did not, when females came by, we all had to look the other way. You couldn't talk to them. You couldn't, if you looked at them, I mean, good luck the rest of your day if you got caught looking at them. Not being weird, but if you just looked,
Yeah.
you were screwed.
Jesus.
Talking to the female generals, everything was completely separated. You were with the guys that you were with. You could not look at the females. You cannot talk to them. You cannot do anything. We were completely separated until the end. We started working together, because now you're at so far at the end. Now they're at the rebuilding stage. They're like so close to bringing you back up. So now they're like intertwining you. You're doing stuff with them, everything like that. Like we did the gas chamber and everything like that with them. I was next to a girl to my right, and she was in there with me. She probably was tougher than I was, because I wanted to cry in that fucking thing. But so this is the last one. We're all waiting there. We're practicing on how to do the next day. We were hiking back to like where we actually like trained at, like where all the barracks were and where all the parade deck was where I graduated. We practiced how to do the ceremony, how to get your EGA. So we were like practicing like how to stand, what we were gonna do, because they didn't want you to screw it up. Like they film each one and everything like that. So we were practicing at that, and this was freezing. We were doing stuff all day. Everyone's soaking wet, exhausted. You don't eat that much. They're trying to make you drink water and like eat salt, so it like absorbs the water and it holds it in your body a little bit longer. But we're so cold that like nobody wants to drink.
Yeah.
Because it's just when you're cold, you don't feel like you need to drink, which is the thing that screws people up all the time. And I'm standing there, and the people just start dropping. I mean, like out. Like they're gone. Like the eyes roll back, and people just start dropping. And at first it was like, okay, because it's been happening the last like 2.5 days. So I'm like, oh my God, like we're so close to the end. That's what at first I was like, we're so close to the end, and they're falling apart now. Like it sucks. But I am shaking. I could barely stand where I was because I was shaking so bad. Like I was literally in pain because of like how much my muscles were like spazzing.
Yeah.
Which was, and so I thought I was going down. So now I'm like freaking myself out. And then we start seeing the girls start going down too. And then I see more guys over like to my right, just dropping. And they push you out of the way. They literally grabbed them. We're like, I mean, damn near like punch them in the face to try and get them to like do anything. They're doing the whole like rubbing your chest until you wake up. I mean, they were not moving. They were like vegetables, dude. They were just lifeless. But they were passing out. They were so cold. They were just passing. You're exhausted, man. You can't even stand. They literally brought an ambulance out and they were just running people back. So that was, it started. I could like feel it like mentally. I was like, I'm going to give up. That was like when I first fell. I was like, dude, I'm going to give up. Because I literally like, I can't stand like this anymore.
Yeah.
I was in so much pain. Like mentally, I was dead. I was drained. And I had my buddy next to me. The one buddy that I had, the couple of tasks that I was like in charge of with him and with two other guys that I was with back in like our squad base. So I got really good friends with him, he's one of them, what I was talking about before. And I was just like thinking, I'm like, if I could just stay with him, we'll be good. But so many people are dropping, they stopped the whole thing and we ran back to where we put our packs down on the flight line or the runway, like a mile down the road or something like that. We placed all our stuff. And they're like, holy crap, like these kids are dropping. So they wanted to get us back and then get us warm. So they were going to put us in the little wooden hooch things and get us out of our clothes and in our sleeping bag to warm people up. Once we started running back, it like hit me. Like everything was failing. Like I couldn't even use my legs. I was like barely hanging on. When we got to the packs, I was like about ready to like start crying. Like that's like where I was, but like I wasn't even trying to cry. Like my body was just doing it. And then we picked him up, and I am like shaking absurdly now. And I grab on to my buddy, and I remember I grabbed onto him, and he like came around and like grabbed my arm, like from the back. He like reached around and like just grabbed my arm. And we started running back, which everyone can't even run, so we're running at like a slow pace, but they're trying to get us back out of our stuff and in a sleeping bag to warm everybody up. Like, I mean, kids are dropping. Yeah. And right when we started running, that was where I broke. That was the first time the Marine Corps broke me. That was the first time I like really broke in boot camp. And I mean, I told you, I mean, there was pretty often I was like crying myself to sleep at night because I would stare out at the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I could just see all the cars going. You could see the planes taking off from like, I don't know if it's like Beaufort Airport or whatever in like South Carolina or somewhere over there, like out in one of those towns. I could just see the planes going, all the cars on the bridge of people who work on base come in and out. And it was killing me, dude, because I would stare at it every night. Yeah. But I wasn't broke then. I was just like,
that was more mental. I feel like
that was
emotions
just like
kicking
emotions kicking in. I was just like,
this where I feel like it's all physicality.
Like this is like this was like physical, and I had nothing left mentally to like hold on to.
Yeah.
So I held on to him. That was like what I was doing. Maybe he has something in him because I'm not gonna make it, and I just started bawling my eyes out. But it wasn't trying to. I wasn't crying like on purpose. I just could not hold myself together.
Yeah. It's probably the only thing that could come out of you, like.
Yeah, whatever
working,
water
you probably
was
couldn't
left
speak.
was tears, right?
Yeah.
And I remember like we would stop and go because they were trying to make sure we were all together. And I remember just like yelling in his ear. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. I was like, I need you. I was like, I'm not gonna make it. And he just kept yelling, like turning around and yelling, like, you're gonna make it. He's like, just hold on to me. Like, we're gonna get back. We're gonna get warmed up, and like you'll be fine. Like, we hike back tomorrow. And you did the Crucible, like you're gonna get your EGA tomorrow, and you're gonna be a Marine. I was like, I'm not making it. And like I was telling myself that because I've like full-heartedly believed it. I was like, I'm done right here. I was like, that was it.
Which is crazy.
But then I start getting mad at myself because I'm like, I went all this way.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna fall out, and I'm gonna drop here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get pushed back to training day 1, or they're gonna like drop me out. And him just kept yelling at me. He's like, are you still with me? Are you still with me? I was like, yes, like I'm still here, but like freaking out. Like I was freaking out. Like I was like, where the fuck are we going? Like, are we there yet? I was like, I literally cannot move anymore. Like I can't. And he just kept, and then I just felt him kept grabbing me. And we finally got back and we took all our stuff off. They weren't even like being mean at this point. They were like, take all your clothes off, like get in your sleeping bag and like drink water. So like my nerves started to calm down. Like once I got in and like I wasn't standing anymore, because you're on your feet for all day. When we would sit down, they would only let you sit down for a short time because they wanted you to be up and moving, just to add to the, just overall, like, they're not giving you a chance to recover, to calm down for a second, because that's not the point. So that was the one time where, like, I broke, like, I was ready to give up, I think. I don't know. I felt like even if I didn't give up, I was just going to fall, and I was just going to get brought back. And things were happening to my body that I haven't even experienced to, like, this day yet. So, like, that was the one time that, like, I really understood where I was. Like, I understood what I was doing and, like, what I signed up for, because it's just boot camp. It's just training. It's just getting you ready. It's just an initial thing to put you through. Yet it brought me to the point where I was like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And since then, to, like, say that, like, I quit, or to, like, not do something, or to, like, even, like, ask for help or something like that, like, really bothers me. Like, I won't do it because of how much that bothered me. To think of, like, what I'm supposed to be and, like, what I'm supposed to be doing and, like, the man that I'm supposed to, like, be and everything like that, that's where I got. It, like, makes me angry. So, like quitting and shit like that, or, like, saying I can't do it or stuff like that, I just, like, I don't tolerate. Like, I just don't do it. And people around me, because people around me, like, go through a lot of stuff, and they're like, man, I just can't do it anymore. I'm like, no, you, like, stop. Like, you're just saying that because something inside you's weak. Like, you're not a weak person. Don't let whatever's inside eating you alive take over.
Yeah.
Because you made it here. You made it this far. Think of who you're doing it for back home. Think of everything you've went through. Don't waste it.
Yeah.
And to just, it's always easier to give up than to stick through and keep going. Which, when you stick through and keep going, whatever it is, you feel like a trillion times better on the other side than when you quit. Because, like, small things I might have, like, gave up on recently, or, like, however since I've been in, and it's probably, like, killed me. It's probably put me in an awful mood. I won't talk to anybody because I know you don't need to quit. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, there's no reason to just put yourself in that, like, state to be like, I quit or I'm done. Because literally the way that we're, like, taught, like, there is no quitting.
Yeah.
There's no quitting. There's no giving up. We're supposed to not ever give up, ever quit, so the people back home can do whatever they want. You know what I mean?
You know, and it's become such a common thing now when the going gets tough, people either complain or they just quit.
Complaining.
I mean, obviously your experiences, you know, in boot camp and being in the Marine Corps, you don't get to quit. But the way I've been brought up, the way Dom's been brought up, I'm sure, you don't quit. You start something, you finish it. You know what I mean? And if the going gets tough, don't complain about it, because it's only going to make it worse. So, I mean, I think I speak for the both of us when I say this, but from what you went through, man, like, I commend you 100%. That's incredible what you were able to go through.
It's kind of, it's like, it's at a point where, I don't know, I guess it's the personality, if you have it or not, because I feel like a lot of people will give up so easily, but, like, I don't know. I've always loved accepting a challenge ever since I was a kid.
Absolutely.
Knowing that the rate of failure is higher than you succeeding.
Yeah.
Like, I've always liked to prove people wrong.
Absolutely.
You know, and I always loved, you know, there's a couple times throughout high school we kind of experienced with baseball being like an underdog. I think there was only a couple times in, like, teams and as a player.
Dude, everyone's, like, with baseball, like, I can talk about it for days, but, like, everyone's always doubted me and my ability for everything I ever did.
And some people like that could put you down without even trying to take that next step.
Yeah.
But, like,
or you find the right person and it puts fuel to the
exactly.
fire.
Yeah. Or for you and for me, like, that shit fuels me up, man, you know?
Yeah, and like, you know, it doesn't compare to what you went through, but this is, like, me trying to find common ground. There was times...
It's like your experience. Everyone, I just chose to do this.
There were times where, like, you know, something was said or something I experienced just about whatever, like, during baseball. And there were times where just like, is this even worth it? Is this even worth it? And then I would think to myself, yeah, it's worth it, because I want nothing more than to prove something to myself and to prove these people wrong. And I'm sure you felt that exact same feeling. But yeah, so like we were saying before, just I'm sure there was negativity in your life that you wanted to absolutely get rid of, and I think joining the Marine Corps and going through boot camp kind of helped with that.
Yeah. I mean, the same thing with you guys. I mean, Dom knows, like, everyone doubted everything I literally, like, ever did growing up.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't the smartest. I barely got through school. So immediately, because that's just what society thinks, you just go through school all the way, and everyone was like, he's not going to make it probably. I mean, growing up, I'm sure my mom probably had to talk to teachers and principals all the time about like,
those preconceived notions about
yeah,
you.
They assume. And yeah, I wasn't good at school. I knew that once I graduated and I did that first semester, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
But now that I'm in, and especially when I get out, I'm not going back to school.
Yeah.
One, because I think that's like still what people want. And I mean, this is my life, just like yours is yours.
Right.
I'm doing whatever I want to do.
Absolutely.
And since I joined, it's like become such a real thing. It's like, I literally don't care what anyone has to say. If I did before, you know me, I don't now.
Yeah.
I do not care. I'm going to do whatever I want that's good for me, that's going to benefit my life and the people around me. But for people to doubt or negativity and stuff like that, whether it was whatever I had to deal with before to now, it doesn't change a thing. Like, I'm still going to do, which everyone should be in that mindset.
Do you kind of look at, like, in the past? I mean, I do this shit all the time. Like, looking when I was growing up through school, you know, we were on the same level growing up, just not too bright
Not
in
the
the books.
sharpest tool in the shed.
But, I mean,
you.
we were both. I mean, there's a difference between street smart and book smart. I mean, everybody knows
Yeah,
that.
I just couldn't.
I mean, you
Absolutely.
could, you know, we would break doors, messing around, and then be able to put it back up in a second before your mom comes home.
In a minute, when we're like, we got a minute.
Yeah. So,
Sometimes it's more important, man.
yeah. So, I mean, like, do you ever look back growing up and, you know, kind of like reassessing yourself and being like, wow, like, I got doubted so much in my life, to now looking at it where you've come so far, even within, 3 years now?
Yeah, just
You know, and you can look back at it as more of a man now and be like, kind of laugh at it, or like, does it fill you up a little bit more?
Well, even from our perspective, and I'm sure you can agree with me when I say this, but yeah, I mean, you're still Matt to us, but you're different.
Oh yeah.
You're different in a way. You carry yourself differently, and it's for the better.
I mean, yeah, it's just what's instilled in you.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of the very basic stuff around the Marine Corps is, well, you don't have a choice. So
Yeah.
you're either going to adapt or you're not.
Sure.
And if you're not, then they don't want you and they don't need you.
And it's not like, I mean, they're making Marines and the military's stressing this discipline. You know, this is just me looking into it. You know, and it's for greater good. Like, it's for yourself.
Well, yeah,
like, it's only beneficial.
It's different than what discipline is back here. Like when you got yelled at growing up and stuff like that. We're yelled at in the beginning because that's just trying to create the mold. And then they're going to start to mold you into something that they want and what we're held as Marines. I mean, we look better than everybody else. We work better than everybody else, and that's for a reason.
Yeah.
It's because we hold ourselves differently than everyone else does.
Yeah.
Right.
To the simple things. We can't wear headphones like when you walk or when you do PT in the morning. You can't like drink and walk. You can't chew and walk. Every time I walk inside, I have to take my cover off, so when I'm home, I'll take my hat off. I shave every single morning, which is strange. I didn't even have this. Trust me, it's weird. But it's down to the smallest things.
Yeah.
That everything involved in your life can have discipline in every way, shape, and form, whether it's shaving your face, making your bed every morning, or when I go out and I actually do what my job consists of, the discipline to know when I need to do it, when I don't need to do it, when I need to do something else, if it's to help somebody. It's the discipline in the small things, so when the bigger picture comes, you don't screw it up.
Yeah.
You take your time, you understand everything, you go through what needs to take place, but it all comes down to the very small things, making your bed every morning, which is something that we just do. I just do every day.
Yeah, which is awesome.
And I
There was that Navy SEAL
that
went viral. Yeah.
That read his thing. The simple things. If you make your bed every morning, you'll have a good. You started with the most simple task in the world. Just make your bed.
And then you end your day with something you succeeded through that day.
Yeah.
Like, that's literally the most
it's
simplest
the simple
thing.
things, man. You'll become such a positive and happy person if you just do the little things.
It's simplifying. It's simplifying life.
It's making this extremely hard life, which is very hard,
Right.
breaking it down.
Yeah.
And just going through
Yeah.
the smaller things, taking each thing at a time. Don't overextend yourself. Do what you can. And when you do that and you succeed at that, then you go on.
And
or you help someone else, or you do whatever. And those things will make you a better person.
And it's staying consistent with everything. I think that's like the biggest thing. And people kind of forget about it. Consistency is key with everything you do. Whether you're trying to live a more positive life, whether you're trying to lose weight, whether you're trying to gain muscle, like whatever the case may be, whatever you're trying to do, you need to stay consistent. Yeah. Because if you don't, then what the hell's the point?
I mean, yeah, it's that consistent discipline. I don't just shave my face a few times a day.
Yeah.
Every single morning. It sucks, but it's just how it is.
Yeah, it's part of routine.
One, that's a thing that goes into the discipline. The fact that we hold ourselves differently than everyone else. We won't look nasty in uniform ever.
Right.
Ever. You will not be able to wear our uniform, our nation's cloth, and you will not look like ass.
Yeah, we hung that up just for you, just to let you know.
Thank you.
There's one thing, I don't know if we'll put this out. There's one question that is starting to become something I think about a lot. And it can kind of look at like corporate America or just companies, their perspective. You know, like it used to be, you couldn't, if you had like a tattoo or something like on like your forearm, like companies wouldn't hire you or something.
You would keep a tattoo, everything above like where a t-shirt would end.
So like companies have these things and, certain rules and discipline, which even comes down to clothing and with uniform. And I feel like that's something companies might be losing.
Yeah.
Is like this like discipline and just the way they dress to come to work. Like to put on a uniform for their work. Put on a uniform, play baseball, put on your uniform, your what do you call it? Camis, yeah. So like
my camouflage utilities, yes.
Yeah.
They're more lenient now with the way people dress to come to work. Like, how do you feel about that?
It's simple. It's the first thing. I think for me, the term "don't judge a book by its cover" is kind of stupid.
Right.
It's never should be done in a rude way, but you look at a book from the outside before you open it.
That's true.
If I look at someone and you look like a bag of ass, like what?
What are you supposed to think?
That's the first impression you're putting on me.
Yeah.
But then now
it's again the simple things.
Yeah.
If you cannot just why do you even have that job? Because clearly you don't take pride in it. You don't even want to look good. You're not excited to go to work, and maybe that's something in you that you need to figure out.
Right.
With like a uniform though, like as a team or as a company, like a military company, like how do you think a uniform, everybody dressed the same, has an impact rather than if everybody wore, whatever they wanted to wear that was appropriate? Like if everybody wasn't wearing the exact same thing as you guys are going through it. Like I remember boot camp coming down, all you guys are wearing the short shorts. It's all the same skinny legs running down.
The thing is it's everything is uniform that we do.
Yeah.
When we place our stuff down on the ground in a line in our like platoon formation, everything is uniform.
Yeah.
If one person does it one way, we're all doing it that way. It's neat. It looks right.
Mm-hmm.
It's presentable.
Right.
It's just simple.
Yeah.
That's why our uniforms, if you are PTing in a certain uniform, everyone's wearing that uniform, that exact uniform. Our uniforms are all the same. The only thing that has anything different between you and anybody else on our camis, which is our daily work uniform, is your name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is it. Everything is the same.
And now do you think all of them having the same thing is it built it like your
the thing it brings away is that nobody's different.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's no reason to look at somebody different. You are all on the same team.
Yeah.
You're all working together. There's no reason for anyone to look different.
You're on the same goal.
You're all at the end of the day, you're all working for the same exact thing.
Yeah. Right. And I feel like too, like when you're uniform and you're doing everything the way it's supposed to be done with everyone in unison, I feel like in a way it's almost intimidating. Right?
It is very intimidating.
You know what I mean? Because like if you have a group of people that are dressed differently, doing, God knows what, not uniform, not in unison, you're thinking to yourself, it's just a bunch of assholes. But like you guys are all uniform, all doing the same thing in unison, tight, right. That's intimidating.
It's scary.
Yes.
Oh, it's fucking incredible. Like
when we go out and we're training different places, and I get to see other platoons running through our ranges that we do. So it's like we're going somewhere soon. When you get to see it from the outside, and you see it play out, it's like the most beautiful thing you've ever seen.
Yeah.
Because before we do it, you go through the plan for days. You talk about it for hours. You make sure everyone knows every part of the plan. Because if someone fails at it or can't do it, I should be able to go do it because I know it. You know everything. So when we get to step back for a minute and we see another group do it, everything goes in. Everything just goes together. It's uniform.
Yeah.
Everyone looks the same. It's just like putting the last piece of a puzzle in.
Yeah.
It all just comes together. It all looks the same. A group, a whatever, a company, a battalion of Marines that look the same. We're crazy as fuck. There ain't nothing in the world that's gonna stop any single one of us. And we're running at you.
Oh my God. And we can relate it to sports, and I can relate it to film.
Yeah.
As a director with just my last couple of short films, like, all you need to do is create chemistry, make sure everybody is on the same page.
Right.
Because if everybody's on the same page, it's going to come out
yeah.
way more than you expected it to be.
When you
know what I
see,
mean?
this is like a big thing with us. When there's a deficiency, you notice it.
Yeah.
It sticks out really bad. And with us, when there's a deficiency in someone or something, we either get rid of it or we fix it. You have to be aware of that. You have to point out that thing that's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you might, if you're that guy who just lets stuff go like that, what are you doing?
Yeah.
True.
Are you really helping anybody out?
I think that was something that took me a while.
Or is there something wrong in you
Yeah.
that you're not fixing?
Yeah. A lot of
maybe we don't just toss the blame out to everyone. What if you're the thing that's wrong?
Yeah, a lot of people
Fix it.
need to reflect on themselves too.
Absolutely. Everyone's always ready to point the finger and say something else.
Yeah.
I hate that.
What are you doing?
Yeah, and I'm kind of hypocritical when I say that because I don't think I reflect on myself enough sometimes. But believe me, there are moments where I'll catch myself and I'll know I'm wrong in a situation, and I will own up to it because you should be accountable for everything you say, everything you do.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
And that's not, I think, from our generation and probably even younger.
That's not a thing.
It's not a thing anymore. Self-assessment.
It's becoming less and less of a thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's pathetic.
It's
It is
disgusting.
pathetic. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Like,
that you can't take ownership for anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ownership is a huge thing. If one, I recommend if you've ever heard of him, Jocko, Navy SEAL, badass dude.
Yeah.
If you watch his podcast or he had a TED talk, ownership. If you can put in ownership to like everything in your life.
Yeah.
If you just take ownership and you be a man, in this case, like it's the same thing, you be a man or a woman, whatever. If you take ownership for what you do, it could be a great thing. Or you take ownership for something you did wrong.
Because you develop.
Nobody's going to point a finger.
Yeah.
Because you're accountable for yourself. You're taking ownership of you, instead of pointing someone else or that broken, that was why it happened.
Yeah.
Or just be like, well, maybe I did it.
And you know what's crazy too, and I'm sure you can probably agree with me when I say this, but like I didn't learn really how to be accountable until I got to college, and I'm sure you probably didn't learn to be accountable until you went through the Marine Corps.
Absolutely.
You know, because like all throughout high school and middle school, like just growing up, like you don't think that way.
No, you don't.
You really don't. And then and then when you experience something in your life where it's like, holy shit, like I'm accountable for me and maybe I'm accountable for someone else. My actions mean something. My actions affect other people.
Exactly.
You really need to understand that. And I feel like when you do, that's when you become a better person.
That's when you become a better person. You become a better man.
Yeah.
For yourself and for everyone around you.
That's part of life, though. I mean,
absolutely.
And that's I think it comes down to who you have as role models or leaders in your life.
Yeah, but some people,
it's coach, parents.
Yeah, but like you
uncle,
said, it's life. It's part of growing up. But some people never learn that.
True.
And they go through life and. I mean, I'm actually not apologetic when I say this, but they're an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's too many of them.
There's just people that are just like that. And sometimes you just can't change those people.
Yeah.
And that's why when failure hits you so young, like, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And again, it goes back to my point. Like, I feel like kids, when they fail now, they just sucker in and
give up.
They give up. And maybe it's because, it's spreaded throughout social media, on Twitter or whatever the hell other platforms kids are exposed to.
Yeah.
It's going to come down to like, oh, wow, like that's what they think of me. They're doubting themselves already from someone else's, perspective or like reading of yourself. It's like, no, dude, you know yourself. Even if you're 10 years old, you know you could have done it or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just pisses me off.
Anything you want to say? Anyone you want to call out, shout out, anything like that?
No, just excited to be here. Finally, happy that this is a thing.
I know.
Stunods,
This everyone. You know how long we've been talking about this?
Too long. Too long.
Here we are.
Here we are.
Here we are. Making moves.
Making moves, baby.
Yep. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us today on the 3rd episode of the Stunods podcast. I am your host, Joe DiNizio.
I am Dominic Lampasona.
Matt, thank you for being here, and I think it goes without saying, we thank you for your service.
And we thank you for your brotherly friendship.
Yes, and being the man.
Maddie the man. Maddie Cakes. All right. Signing off.
Tuning off.
Stopping off.